got this fight coming up. You know, when I say to you July 23rd, UFC London, what runs through your mind?
Um, Destiny. Like I was meant for this, you know. That the show and the card in March was amazing. And I was like, man, uh like I was so hyped as a fan and a fighter and just excited for the fighters, the fans, the organization, the sport as a whole. Watching that card in March, it was like it was different, you know. So to be able to be on the next card in London, following that with the same fighters who were on that card, you know, it's gonna be electric. You know, it's gonna be just so much energy, and man, and I'm just excited about it.
Yeah, they those fans in London, they do bring it, man. The UK fans are crazy. Have you been getting like messages from the UK fans? Every time fighters fight in the UK, they usually get, you know, messages of love from the UK, excited for you to go over there and compete.
Nah, I'm gonna be real with you. I've been getting a lot of like troll ass motherfuckers sending me messages. Uh, Muhammad gonna kill you, brother. He gonna slit your throat and shit like that. So like it ain't really been the best of fans, but you expect that, you know. It is what it is. You know, like this is the fight game. If you don't have tough skin, like, you know, you're not gonna last anyway. So for me, it's just like going to the cookout and going out and roasting your relatives. It's the same thing. So like I've been kind of having fun with it. I just kind of roast people now when they
You've always said, you know, you want to compete against the best in the world, and now you get the opportunity to do that. But also at the same time, you're gonna have this platform that the UFC brings, and I know that you're really excited to be able to just kind of bring, you know, expose yourself to the world, and to finally have that opportunity to take advantage of the audience. You know, what does that mean to you?
um Yeah, man, it's the UFC. This is what you hope for with the UFC. It's not a pay-per-view card, so it's on regular TV. I think it's on ABC in the US now. So it's just amazing to be able to be on the ESPN Plus app. Have your name. Like months ago after my fight in January, my name was on the ESPN app, you know, and I was like, damn, I'm on ESPN now. Like it's like you see as things unfold that you've um stuff and that you've talked about and you dreamed about and it's happening, you know. It just gives you, it's a lot of excitement. I feel really prophetic at times, you know, because things that I say, uh, they happen, you know. So but yeah, man, it's amazing, man. It really is a dream come true.
And you're facing Mohammad Mokaev. You know, what I mean, like he's a name that I'm pretty sure have has came across your table in the past because you guys both trained at Tiger Muay Thai, and I think you did some training out there. You worked with them a little bit. Anything you took away from that training?
Just a strong grappler, man. I mean, like at the time, I didn't know who he was. I was there on sponsorship, and he came in with some other guys from the UK, and you could tell he had some buzz about him. And the coaches, like, um, were more like cheery and chipper with them, and kind of like did some pad holding with them. So I knew he had some importance to him, because it takes somebody of importance to get George to get some pads going, because he's pulled in a million different ways, right? And so I knew he had some importance to him, and so we trained a little bit together. Nothing specifically, you know, like it's just regular training. You know, he went hard when we went to grappling on the feet. It was just regular training, so it wasn't nothing to pin your cap in, you know.
When he made his UFC debut against Cody Durden, you know, there was a lot of hype, a lot of talk, you know, that went into it, and when you compare like what you saw in the training room to what he did inside that cage, was there a lot of similarities, or did you see a whole different fighter?
Um, no, I saw the same fighter you saw as an amateur. If you're familiar with him, he has a lot of confidence. He's gonna come forward. He does a lot of explosive movements, and he's a wrestler. You know, so he's not afraid to do anything out of the box because he know he can fall back to his wrestling. And that's the great thing about having a really good skill set in MMA. If you have something you can call home, if you're able to get back to that at some point during the fight, you can get that comfortability, that confidence going, and just feel, you know, at home in the cage. So um, you see that a lot in his fights. He doesn't mind taking risks because he can fall back to his wrestling, which he's a really good wrestler. You should be. You know, you've been wrestling since you were 12 on UK national team and stuff like that. He should be, you know. So I think he's a formidable opponent. I think he's just a bright young kid with a big future, obviously, because if he keeps his mind where it is, you know, competitor. But you know, as it goes to like fighting, and when I watched that fight, it wasn't nothing that surprised me about it.
Yeah. Well, I was surprised because I didn't expect a flying knee. You know, what I mean, we've seen Muhammad for a while, and we are used to his wrestling. You know, what I mean, being his number one tool basically, and he went out there and was really didn't use it as much. You know, he did use it a little bit, but you know that flying knee came out of nowhere. Back to you,
Yeah,
man.
I
You're
think he
yeah.
was more comfortable with the matchup. You can do those things when you're fighting another wrestler. You know you're the better wrestler, so you can just open up. So that's for me. I knew that he was gonna. I had a feeling he would finish Cody. I had a feeling it would be a tough go for Cody. I never say that people can't do something, but I just knew that it was gonna be really hard for Cody to do his game because I felt like what Cody was good at, Muhammad was better at, and then that just allows, you know, you see the wrestlers, they end up banging, you know. So that's exactly how that fight started, and it was one of those that ends quickly.
All right, now back to you. Your last fight against Carlos Mota. We spoke ahead of that fight. You explained to me exactly what you wanted to do in that fight, and I feel like you did most of what you said. You got the fifth round TKO. Did you accomplish everything you set out to accomplish in that fight?
Yeah, man. That fight was all about just going in there, enjoying it, you know, and putting together everything that I worked on in the camp. There was no wrestling threat. We knew the wrestling would be there for me to take him down at any given time, and it was just really about showing people what level I was on. You know, like no matter where this fight goes, I didn't get hurt at all in the fight, so I poked myself in the eye. You know, like um, you know, it was everything that I thought was gonna happen. He tired when I thought he was gonna tire, and I almost finished him in the fourth, and then I just finished him early in the fifth. So it went exactly how I envisioned it.
Anything, if you nitpick at that, anything you were not satisfied with?
Yeah, always. Just a couple times where I'm just being a little lethargic in there, just throwing little things up. He catch the kick, took me down early. Um, a couple times in the fight where I just kind of like get too comfortable and don't keep my foot down. But for the most part, I did everything that I needed to do. It was a stand up fight. I feel like I could have, you know, done a lot more things if I wanted to, but I fought the fight I wanted to fight.
And I know it all depends on like what exactly happened in the fight, but how much time do you spend on rest and recovery after a fight?
It just depends on, you know, if we leave with any injuries, but I usually try to give myself at least a week, 2 weeks. Sometimes I'm in the gym on Monday, a lot of the times, and you know, it's a conversation I've had to have with my coach because and you gotta tell me to sit my ass down, you know, because I'm always ready. I want to get back in and work on something. I want to get back in and keep and get it next to the next thing or work on something that happened in a fight or you know, so this last fight, I was able to actually take some time away and spend some time with my lady. I got to go out of the country, went to Mexico for a little bit. So that was a great little reset. And then I was able to come back and just fully focus since February on whatever the next opportunity was going to be.
Yeah, it must have been wonderful. You know, you defend your title, you go on vacation with your girl, you come back and the UFC signs you. What else,
Yes.
you know, can happen
Yeah,
better than that?
it was the months in between there. I was just like, I was chomping at the bit, man.
Yeah.
March came, April came, and I was like, it's still nothing. It's still nothing. And I'm seeing guys from the LFA who fought on the card with me now fighting the LFA, like Bruno Silva, Rodriguez, the girl fighter. I can't remember her name, but she was like my 15 pounder. We all fought on the same time on the same cards around the same time, and it's just seeing them guys get called up. I'm like, when are they gonna call me up? You know, just like waiting. So that little bit was not fun, but you know, you just gotta stay consistent with your
Yeah.
work. You know.
I know a lot of fighters they want to get on the Contender series, but I think it's better just to get signed by the UFC like that right
Yeah.
away.
Yeah, the Contender series, because you get matched up with another dog, and it's still a fight, and anything can happen. Like, you can go in there with all the talent in the world, anything can happen. These are 4-ounce gloves, and it's the sport of MMA. Anything can happen. So you're still taking a risk by stepping in there. There are some unbelievably talented guys in there, from all over the world with different skill sets. So I never take that for granted. Anytime I step in the cage, even if I'm supposed to win the fight, it's still always anything can happen.
This training camp, you did some traveling. I saw you went to Pennsylvania. You're wearing the Penn wrestling
Oh
shirt,
yeah.
and yeah, you did some work with Jordan Burroughs, and I saw you
Oh
did some
yeah.
cross training with Daniel Gracie. Man, one of the hottest teams right now. Man, they have some crazy,
Yeah.
crazy fighters out there. How was
Yes.
over there?
Marquez in Philly, and Sean Brady, and what's his name? The black guy just knocked the guy out with the hook.
Jeremiah Wells.
Jeremiah Wells. And I just got to work with some solid guys out there. They were receptive of me, cool. Sean Brady took me to this spot with they got cheesesteaks. They were going to get cheesesteaks, and he was like, "You can ride with us, man." So I just rolled with him and coach, and was able to talk to them a little bit, just get a little insight on the game. And you got a coach like Daniel Gracie, who's been in a part of the sport for years, and stories. And I just love to listen to those guys and just have conversation, just be, organic with them. And so that was a great experience going out there, being able to cross train there, and then who can say they got to train with Olympic champion, And so, like, I created a great relationship with Jordan, and I was out there for a month, spent some time with him and his family, a lot of time with him and his family, and it was just a great experience. Got to go up to New York with them for Final X, and watch him compete, and just be a part of that, be there with him, be with his family, his kids, his wife, his coach Brandon Slay, and just, you know, it's so many guys, Joy McKenna, and it's so many guys a part of what they're doing there. They're just faith oriented, very strong in their values, a lot of integrity, and prayer, and I go by the 3 P's: prayer, positivity, and perseverance. So just going out there, just like, it felt good, and it was a great trip to not only work on the detail of wrestling and get that one-on-one and with that, but just create organic, great relationships with great people.
Yeah, and soak up the championship vibes, the championship energy, right?
Mindset,
Yeah.
it's nothing like that. It's different. Obviously, MMA and wrestling is different, but that competitive spirit of a wrestling room, and with the top guys in the U.S., and then, one of the greatest, arguably the greatest USA wrestler of all time, when he's finished, it's just nothing like that.
Did you go there knowing that you were going to fight Mohammed, or was it something that was pre-planned?
So we had already spoke months in advance. He had an event out here with his foundation, Beat the Streets, in Detroit. And so I went there with Joaquin Buckley, and we were there, and we met him, and we talked and after the event, I spoke with him about 10-15 minutes. We exchanged numbers, and I just stayed in contact with him. And then when I signed this fight, I just scheduled it immediately. I scheduled out my camp, and I put that at the beginning of the camp because I was already planning on going out there anyway. So I was like, this is the month to do it. Let's do it here, and then I can focus the second half of my camp on MMA and everything else I need to do.
Nice, nice. Going from a camp like Daniel Gracie back to your camp, Mercer MMA, which has a tremendous roster, a bunch of guys, great guys, and a bunch of guys that's probably going to be in the UFC real soon. How was the rest of the camp there with them?
Camp's been great, man. I have a great partner, my boy Adam and my boy Mondo Gutierrez. We just grind. We grind, and Mondo's a phenomenal grappler, jiu-jitsu and wrestler, and he's strong as shit. So it's like, he's gonna offer me things that Muhammad won't, honestly. And it's just it's a nightmare getting up off bottom, training with him at times. But I do it, So it gives you that confidence. And then My boy Adam, he's coming up as well on the regional scene. So it just, we got a good group in there, of solid guys. Everybody working towards certain goals. And what's funny is our gym is very similar to Daniel Gracie's and Marquez's gym and Coach Marquez's gym, where it's in Philly. It's in Philly. It's rough, and we're in Lansing. It's rough. So it's like that vibe in the gym is very similar, and I can relate to that. Coach Marquez come from a boxing background, so does Coach Joaquin here at Mercy's. So that was cool to bounce off of that. And then we got Ronaldo Candido who comes out, and then I got my boy Brendan. He's a purple brown belt in jiu-jitsu, who's coming out helping us. We got a jiu-jitsu school out here called Magic. He's been a great reference for us. And so it's just all around, man, you couldn't ask for better things. I know guys like going to big gyms and having all these sparring partners, but I always say you only need one, man. Guys who understand they're working towards the same thing and they're good, you only need one, and you work on those things. And it's something great about having that tight knit, smaller gym where you can really be detailed and you can focus. You get a lot more focus. So that's a great thing as well.
Yeah, definitely. And you've been to the big gyms. You spent, long periods of time at big gyms, so you know exactly what you have with your team and kind of like assembling the right people around you. And it's great to see, man. Everybody's different. A lot of eyes, man, will be on this matchup. So-called enemy territory. You know what I mean? You mentioned earlier that you were getting some messages, some hate messages. How do you see yourself winning your UFC debut?
Man, I just honestly feel like it's going to be very similar to Joaquin Buckley's recent fight, with Duraev. It's for me, it's more of a sprawl and brawl type fight, but by us being flyweight, it's going to be a lot more technical, a lot more scrambling. So it's going to be very exciting for fans. I just know that, especially if we go all 3 rounds. I see myself winning this fight. I really feel like I'm gonna hurt this kid, man. He's strong-willed, but um, he's gonna run into something, and it's gonna be a great fight. It's gonna be a great fucking fight. I'm so excited for it, man. The great thing is, all these opponents, I get their fans, and I get these bad things, but I always tell them, man, I'm gonna make you a fan. I'm gonna make you a fan, and I do. So I like going to enemy territory. First time in London, it's gonna be an experience. I'm gonna embrace all of it. The walkout, everything. I just cannot wait, man. It's just gonna be an unbelievable feeling stepping in that cage, man.
What are your thoughts on like the state of the flyweight division right now? I mean, do you feel like, you could be fighting the best? I think we talked about this in our last interview. Like, you feel like the flyweight division, you could be at a title shot within 2-3 fights if you maneuver properly.
This fight sets me and Muhammad up to make a title run, hands down. Me being the champion, him being the champion in Brave, him having all of the clout, everything he has, people seeing me like, wow, this kid's good too. It's gonna be a great fight to set us up for a title run, regardless of what happens. And the division is in a place where guys don't want to make weight. It's a lot of talent there, but these guys aren't making weight. They're pulling out of fights. It's just, all right, give us these opportunities. We're gonna take them. Guys like me and Muhammad, we're gonna fucking take them and we're gonna run with them. So it's a lot of guys who've been in the division. It's a lot of new guys in the division. I think the weight class is in an excellent position as far as like we got at least 13, 14 solid guys in that division, and they just haven't been spotlighted. But people gonna see the flyweight division is really fucking good, top to bottom, and technical. There's a lot of champions in there. So Kai Kara France versus Brandon Moreno is going to show that, and as other guys get other opportunities, it's going to show that as well. That guy who just fought out of Charles Oliveira's gym, out of the Shuto box gym.
Nascimento, I think.
Yeah, he's fucking
Yeah,
good, bro.
he
Like,
is.
everybody had Jake Hadley pinned, because he's scary looking, but he did what he wanted, So like, and Jake Hadley's no slouch. So, you got a lot of talent in this division right now. So I'm very excited to see, where this fight goes and where things go after this fight. But, we all obviously got to focus on our work right now.
All right, man. July 23rd. I'm very excited to see what you do in this fight, man. UFC London. Charles,
Yeah.
appreciate the time, man. It's always good catching up, and yeah, all the best in London.
Yes, sir, bro. Appreciate you.